Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everywhere you are watching us live. We are on Niger Data Stream year 2022, live and direct. I want to welcome you all to today's session. This is the second in the series where we are featuring technical trainers on some of the topics around analyzing data and what essentials of data engineering. We started this session last week and we had beautiful presenters. Just today, we are also in the house to have two more beautiful and powerful presenters in our midst who will be taking us through different segments of the data platform of Microsoft. Uh, Today, for this track, I have with me one of the best that we have in person of Gloria, and she I will be bringing her aboard in the next few seconds. But before I go further, I want you to be aware that some of our partners and sponsors for this live event are Covenant Technologies, Microsoft, Enterprise DNA, and Jerry Computer Solution Enterprise. I want to introduce you to my guest for this presentation, and she is Gloria Ibeakanma. I'm sorry if I didn't call that name very correctly. When you have the opportunity, she will do the better pronunciation. And she will be talking on Power Query Editor, ETL, which is one of the critical areas of Power BI. If you are not good at Power Query, then you'll be having challenges. So she'll be taking us through the pros and cons of using ETL, extract, transform, and load inside Power BI, Power Query Editor. For the audience at home and from wherever you are watching us, this is the link to the session that you have joined. In case you have any other persons you want to share the link with, kindly copy it and share with them. Um, for the profile of our presenter, Gloria Ibeakanma is an express data analyst, passionate about helping businesses thrive and succeed. She is skilled in databases, SQL, visualization, reporting, and data warehouse. Also, she is a professional Scrum Master, Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate, and Microsoft Certified Trainer. She loves using her skills to impact people and businesses. Um, I'm struggling believe that she will do justice to the presentation. Gloria, you are welcome
Yeah,
on board
thank you
um,
so much.
to your beautiful presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Popola.
Floor. You have the
Okay,
floor.
thank you. We appreciate all of you from wherever you have joined us, like Mr. Popola has just said. Today, we are saddled with that responsibility to look at analyzing data with Power Query Editor. You know, you have a Power BI, you have a lot of fancy tools. I'm going to start by um, giving a quote, and that quote is that you can have all the fancy tools, but if your data quality is not good, you are nowhere. So you are actually nowhere if you don't know how to clean up your data. And another quote I would have is that no data is clean, but most of them are useful. So how do we clean this data to make the maximum use of our data? So we need to understand what the Power Query is all about. So I will take the overview of what we are going to do today. We'll, at the end of this class, we should be able, or this section, we'll do a little bit of definition of terms, and we're going shaping of data, profiling our data, and enhancing our data, the structure of our data. That's what we will do today. So let me quickly start by defining most of the terms that we'll be using frequently in the course of analyzing data in these 10 weeks. The first one is data. What exactly is data? So data is the information that you have translated into a form that is efficient for movement or processing. What it simply means is that you must have stored your data in an electronic format. So whatever format that you have stored it, that means you can move it. And that's the definition of data. So Power BI is a set of software application and services or connectors that work together to transform your data into visually appealing, analytic, and interactive dashboards. So at the end of the day, if you connect your data to Power BI is just an app, a software that connects to a lot of sources. That's the beauty of Power BI. Power BI can connect with over 200 sources of data. So you don't have a problem where you have stored your data. All you need first is to get Power BI on your local computer. And you can download the desktop Power BI. It's actually free to download that. So let's quickly look at having defined data and having defined Power BI. What exactly is Power Query? Because that's where we're going to do a lot of, we have a lot of business to do today. So it's actually the transformation engine of Power BI. So it's the graphical interface for getting data from different sources and applying transformation. That's what it means. Go fetch your data from wherever your data set is and bring it in and apply transformation. I like to call the Power Query as the kitchen of the Power BI. It is where you do a lot of transformation. And if you're unable to do this transformation properly, it's going to affect the inputs of your data set, your dashboard. Sorry, it's going to affect the insights that people are expected to get. So by the time you get to where you are meant to do the visualization, the visuals you are getting wouldn't be appealing, because why? You have failed to do what is expected from you at the Power Query editor. So it's simply the engine of Power BI. So we look at our data source. What exactly is data source? Data source is where you are pulling your data from. So your data could be in your SQL server, it could be in your Oracle, it could be in Access, it could be an Excel flat file, a web, wherever your data set is sitting. There's no problem. Power BI will connect with that data. So your data source is where you're pulling it from. And the data set is the actual data where you are pulling in your queries or table. So your data set is quite different from your data source. Data set is the information that you're working with, that you have already bringing into Power BI. Now, our topic is how to analyze data using Power Query Editor. The engine of that Power Query Editor, Power BI, you have to do what we call the ETL. What exactly is ETL? It's an acronym that actually means extract, transform, and load your data. So that extract, transform, and load your data, it simply means connect with those sources of data wherever it is and bring it to a unified repository. That's what it simply means. So we have extract, transform, and load. At the extraction stage, you are pulling in your data, your various data that you have, you are pulling it in into the Power BI. So that's what it simply means. Just extract that data and bring it in. The transformation is where we do, the transform rather, is where we do a lot of transformation. I've actually itemized them. We have the cleansing, the integration, and the enrichment. This place consists where you look like filtering the rows, where you split columns, you alter the data type, you do a little bit of formatting and all that. So that's transformation. So the data integration, you are connecting to tables, you are aggregating data. And for the enrichment, when you are done, you are able to load your data, which is the last part, the L. The L there stands for the loading stage. After the cleansing, so what do we do with the data? So you load your data where the transformation data is sent to for staging. That's what it simply means. So having looked at what ETL is, so why do we need to clean data? Why go through all of this process? As a data analyst, 80% of your work is in this Power Query, is in this kitchen where you have to clean up that data. So data are organized where users can find data in an intuitive manner. When you're looking at your data set, you are seeing what you're asking questions, and When you organize your tables, they actually help you. So measures and column produce more accurate results. When you look at your data set, you can use a measure, to get what you want. And duplicates are removed. We know that data, remember the quotes, most data and all data are not clean, but most of them are useful. So there may be duplicates at the point of getting in the data, at the point of where when they're typing it. So you may have duplicates, and if you work with that duplicates, you won't get a good result. So complicated tables are split into two, and multiple tables can be combined, for readability. We have codes and with integers, they can be replaced when you do what you're supposed to do in the Power Query Editor. When we have done this, what do we stand to gain? More accurate results. When you clean your data, you have more accurate results. You have better organized tables, simpler data navigation, and human readable value. And all the steps you take in your Power Query Editor, they are recorded. All the steps you take, they are recorded, so that you can simply go back to those steps and cancel if you need to do that. So your Power Query Editor, we have talked about that it combines to various data sources, variety of sources. You can make your own functions, Power Query track actions and automate processes for us. The basic transformation that we will do today are promoting headers, removing columns, renaming columns, changing case, changing data types, replacing values, splitting columns, merging, rearranging, append, and so on. It is very important for us to look at our data types in the Power Query Editor. The data type is how the data is being stored. Is it stored as is the data set seeing it as a date, as decimal, and all that? So you have to look at that before you load in your data. You must identify your columns and your headers, your column names. The best practice is look at your a name that is acceptable, maybe in your organization. Avoid abbreviations, or accept the abbreviations are known by everybody, or is accepted by everybody in your organization. We would look at what it means to append and to merge. At this point, we will just hit our Power BI and just let's try our hands and to clean our data. Let's see how we can fetch data. So I'm going to switch over to my Power BI. Please, I need you to confirm if you can see my screen, my Power BI screen. Hello? You can just put on the chat if you can't see, if you're seeing my Power BI screen.
We can see your screen.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, when you get your Power BI desktop, which I've said is free, it's advisable that you load your data from you get your Power BI from the Microsoft Store. What that means is what you stand to gain is, because updates are on a monthly basis. So as Microsoft is giving that update, your system you'll be notified and your system will update. So when you get there and you have launched your Power BI, you'll be seeing this interface, Power BI desktop. So I'll just cancel here. The first thing is for us to get data. So you can get your data set from here, from this icon here, or you can decide to just take off this and come over to this place to get your data. So I'm going to hit get data. Now Power BI had helped us to classify our data into 6 different classes. We have flat files. I don't know if you can see that. Just give it. Now we can see this. We have files. So under your file, you have your Excel, your text CSV, your XML, your PDF, your SQL servers, and all that. That's under your file, sorry, you have your Excel, your text, your JSON file, your PDF. Under the databases, you have your SQL, your assets, Oracle, your SAP HANA, and a lot, you know. So all you just need. So you can also load uh, another Power BI data set into Power BI. You have your Azure, and we have online services. So your Google Analytics and the rest, your SharePoint, your Adobe, and others. So you can also fetch your data set from the web. So we'll try our hands on a few of these files. So I'll quickly get a CSV file. You must know where you actually saved your file to get it connected. So I'm going to connect to a data set that I have here called cost. Let me get in this cost. So once you get it, you click open. Now this is the data set. If you look at it, the ideal practice, once you have clicked get data, it takes you to your Power Query. But before then, when it brings in the data, it's going to be asking you questions. You'll see these 3 boxes here. We have load, transform, and cancel. The ideal practice is for you to transform your data, because especially for data that are not structured. So take a good look at it. What it means, that's what it means. Take another look at your data before you start working on it. So we have clicked on transform our data set, and we are now in the Power BI, the query editor. So this is the kitchen of the Power BI. Now, when we take a good look at this data, we're seeing column 1, 2, 3, and all that. So we're seeing spaces here. So the best thing to do is to take up these spaces, because we want our data to be readable. We want it to look good before we move to the visualization stage. You don't just rush to visualize. So we're going to be saying take up top rows, and Power BI will ask you how many rows do you actually want me to take out of here. I click take out the top row, so I'm going to say take 2 rows away so that my data set will look good. So I've taken 2 rows, so we can't see those rows anymore. But I still have column 1, 2, 3, and others. So there's something we call in Power BI, which is promote headers. What it simply means is make my first row to be the header. We can see dates. Column 1 does not actually give me any information, but when look at the next row, you are seeing dates, you are seeing products, you are seeing serial number and all that. So I'm going to say make my first row to be the header, and boom, just with a click of a button, Power BI has done that magic for you. So it has executed. So you're seeing your dates. This looks good. Dates, products, sales, and all that. Remember, I talked about when you have done that. So we're going to be looking at the naming. This is dates, your naming convention. So dates, product, serial number, good, sales, cost price, telesales. Let's quickly look at what we have here. Preparation time. So we have 7 columns in this data set, but our data type is found here. When you look at this little icon here, it tells you, it speaks volumes, it tells you your data set. This is date, but where it's coming as alphabet, you can see the letters A, B, C, which simply means Power BI is seeing this as a test. So this will affect
Hello, hello,
my
Gloria.
yeah.
Hello, Gloria. You need
I
to
can hear
reshare
you.
your Power BI. You need to reshare your Power BI slide. We can. It's
Okay.
not refreshing. Your window is not refreshing. Power BI window.
Okay, let me do that.
You can drop it and reshare. Thank you.
Please, Mr. Popola, confirm you
Okay,
can see it.
yeah, it's loading now. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we can see it. Thank
So
you.
at what point
You
did
can
we
proceed.
did it go up?
It's like we miss when you. It's like we miss when you uploaded. When you get to when you get to this environment, maybe you can start from how you get to this environment and how you
Oh,
upload your data.
okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I did. For you to get your data, I said you just get know the format you have saved your data. So the data set I got is remove is called cost. So I got this data set. I just clicked on it. Now, when you're on your desktop, if you do this, it's going to give you an interface. This interface, but not you'll be seeing load, transform, and cancel. Now, because I'm already in the Power BI query, that's why I'm seeing OK and cancel. I'm just going to hit OK. Now, this is the data set that we will be looking at. This is the data set. Now, when you look at this data set, you'll see that we have column 1, 2, 3, and all that. So for better understanding, this column, this does not give me what I want. There's an icon here that you can take to remove these empty rows that we're seeing. So you hit this remove top rows. So it's Power BI will ask you, how many rows do you want to take? So I want to take up these 2 rows. So I'll say, okay. And Power BI will do that. Now, we'll also look at it. There's what we call promote headers. So if you come here on this icon here, you will see use first row as header. Then when I use the first row as header, we'll have dates. This is better than what we had before. Then the next thing we're going to look at, we'll look at your your data type. Your data type simply means how the file is being saved. Look at it properly. These dates here, this is dates, products, serial number, and all that. But these dates here, the data type is giving me alphabets, which simply signifies that this is saved as a text. That's how he's seeing it. So I need to change it. This is why you need to do that cleansing. Now, if I put dates, it's telling me that there is an existing type conversion. Would I want to change the existing one? I said, go replace the current one. But when you do that, you would have, I'm having error message. So what I will do, I will take up this and come here and click using local. When you do this, it brings up an interface where you can change the data type. Let's just give it a few. Yeah, so change type with local. So I'm going to say change this for me to be a date. Then this is my Power BI. I'm using the United States. So let's have the United Kingdom. And the moment you say OK, Power BI automatically change your dates. Then we have the product, which is good as text, serial number as text, and all that. So we look at Telly says time. So this is time, and they're seeing it as text. So we may not be able to do summations with this. So we're going to change this to whole numbers. I'll change this to whole numbers, and I'll do the same for the preparation time so that I'll be able to calculate in case I need to do the total or the sum of the time it takes for this data set. So this is one way we have cleaned this data. Now on this place, we may need to take note of that we have there's column profiling. The moment you get your data sets, by default, Power BI would profile your data for you based on the first 1,000 rows. But if your data set is over 1,000, you can just come here and click profile this data for me based on the entire data set. What we do in the Power BI Power Query is to look at the data set. So we have done that. When you do your column profile, it shows you your errors and your empty value. So if you come here and you click, I don't know if you can see this, confirm you can see the product. It's telling us uh, the error and the empty cells that we have. So for valid, we have 100%. Just put your cursor there and you'll see it. It will come up. It will pop up. So there's also what we call column quality and column distribution. So if you need to see all of that, you just click this view button here, and you can put your column quality, check it. So it's going to tell you your valid, your error, and your empty. And if you do the same for column distribution. So it's column distribution shows you your unique and your distinct values that you have all over the data set. So you can see it says I have 12 distinct and 0 unique. So it's all about cleansing your data set. Okay, so let me quickly move out from here and let's try and get another data set. Assuming our data set is stored in a PDF format. Assuming your data set is stored in a PDF format, so what do? Quickly go fetch your data. So I've clicked get data. Also note that while you are in the Power Query editor, you don't need to leave if you need to get another data. All you need to do is to click the new source and that data set will be in. So I'm bringing in a PDF. I'm going to make a connection with that. So let me just bring this. This is instruction details. Just to establish that we can connect with different data sources. Please remember that Power BI will always profile your data for you by default to the first 1,000 rows. So I've clicked, I'm bringing in the PDF document. So this is it. So you just click whichever one you want. When you come here, there's a navigation pane which tells you, gives you a preview of the data sets that you want. Then you just have to pick what you want. That's why we're in the query. Don't load everything. So look at whichever one you want. Assuming, okay, we want table 2, and we'll just hit OK, and the Power BI will fetch that for us. So this is it. And so we have our PDF file here. It's showing table 002 because that's what to bring in. Remember your naming convention. So it is appropriate that you can rename your data sets from here. So I'm going to just say maybe construction. Just give it a name, not table. So once you do this, if I hit this, it's going to change here also. Or you can also rename it from this place. Now quickly go and get an Excel file for us to be able to work with. So I've clicked the new source. So I will bring in this data. Let me bring this sales data in. So Power BI is getting that data for us. So this is the data, a preview of the data. So I'll just say okay. So this is the sales data, an Excel sales data set. So take notes. Look at this. Column profiling is based on 1,000 rows. So we'll quickly look at our data set. Let's look at the last column here. We're having column 20. If you do this way, it will just show you what you have. So I have null values on this data set. There's no point working with null. So you take off what you don't want. That's the only essence why you are in the kitchen. So you just click it and say remove. You can right click. What I did was I just tapped on it. If you right click, you will see the remove or remove other column. So I've taken that off. Remember we said that every step you take in Power BI, it applies those steps are recorded for you. Assuming you need to you go there and uncheck something, you can do that. You can't say, so I'm going to just take away this remove columns and we will see the null column that we took off the other time. So it's still there. So you see it's back. So you just do it and right click. You can remove it from here or you can also remove column from here. So if I click here, remove column, it's the same thing that's going to happen. So this is our data sets. The next thing we have done, okay, our naming, I think they are okay, is to look at our data type. Very, very important. The other ID, this is an ID, so it's giving us as a whole number. I may decide it's just, I don't need, I may decide to put it as a test because I don't want to do summations on it. This is other dates. So it appears at dates. This is fine. Your unit cost, this is decimal. Your price, which is decimal, and this looks good. This looks good. So this is good. When we look at it, then next thing we can do on the Power Query Editor, you can merge queries, you can merge columns together. Let's look for a column that we can merge. You can be on one column and merge. Assuming we have, okay, let's look at this channel and the promotion name. So you can merge these two together. Just be on one and you can click, you press your shift button, you press this together and you just say merge. You merge columns. So you see that you just merge the two columns. It's actually asking what uh, the separator. I'll just say let there be a space in between them. What name should you give the merge column? I may say new channel. So you can see that this new channel is having both the store and the new year um, promotion. So you can merge this up a little of the transformation that we can do. We quickly get a data set so that we can do append and merge. I want to do append, so I clicked a CSV file. I hope we can hear me. A yes on the chat button would be good. So I'm going to bring in this file leads. Is establishing a connection with it. So this is good. So I bring in my leads. So we'll quickly get what append means. You want to add rows together. You have your data sets, but they are sitting on maybe two, three uh, files. So you can merge them together to become one using the append. This is good. So I brought in Leeds, I brought in Manchester. I'm going to bring in one more. The third CSV. I'll bring one more. I'll bring in Manchester. Where are you? Yeah, open. And so once you hit the OK button, and oh, sorry, I
Hello,
brought in.
Gloria.
Yeah.
You have less than 5 minutes more. We'll
Okay.
round
Okay.
up.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you.
So I'm supposed to bring in. I brought in Manchester twice. I'm going to bring in one more. So these are three different data sets, but I want to put them as one. So what do we do? So you append to add those rows together. So on this icon here, you have append. So I prefer to append as new. I want to put these three clubs together so that I will have just one file. Power BI will ask you, is it two tables or more? So my table is three. Because on Liverpool, so Liverpool is here, I'm going to, if you double click or you can click and add, whichever works for you, fine. So no, before, sorry, I'm going to take off this append. Before you append, you must ensure, you must take a look at your data set. So what do we have, and ensure that what you have in it tally. So we have name, date claim, amount, and category. So I prefer to have this as dates, amount, category. Beautiful. So the claim by, I'll change this to name, which is what I have, and I'll change this to dates. And we have dates page and good. So I'll quickly do same for Liverpool. So name uh, for this, I'll change it to category. So dates, and then we move to append. Let me quickly append this. Append. So what it means that when you append, you want to make the data sets one, add them by the row. So Power BI is asking, so I click three or more. So I'm on Liverpool. I'll quickly add Leeds and Manchester. And once you hit OK, so we have appended. So you can change this. Though I'm having a null value here, you can rename this to the football, maybe football club or something. I need to check this. I'm having a null value. It's not supposed to be. Date, name, category, date, amount. Okay. But this is one way to add. But you can also, while you're on this, to make your data sets, to find out which is for Manchester. While you're here, I'm going to work out to find out why I'm having this null value. It's not supposed to be. But if you want to get more information on how to do this, to append. So from here, I want from my football data set to know which club. So I'm going to say, give me a custom, I don't know, a custom column, and here I will just put
Hello,
leads.
Gloria.
Yeah, just
1 minute more.
okay.
One
Yes.
minute more.
So this is how to append. I'm just to make your data set look good. I'm trying to add more. This. If you have questions, you could put them on the charts, and we would I would answer those questions. Yeah, Mr. Popol, I don't know if we have questions. So if you come back to your append, you would see. Uh, no, I've made.
Yes, participants will surely have questions, which they can drop on the chats. You can drop on the YouTube chat so that you can pick them up. So, as at
Okay.
now, I want to thank you, Gloria, for this beautiful session. From me, it has been an enlightening engagement, very informative, very educative, and very entertaining from technical perspective in terms of data analytics. I want to thank you, Gloria, for this session. And for the interest of the participant, in case of people that join us later in the discussion, you have been able to dwell more on the basic operations that we can perform inside Power Query. You have also been able to tell us some of the tips that can be of advantage to us when we are making use of Power Query for ETL, extract, transform, and load. Yes, if I can remember some of the basic operations you said that we can perform inside Power Query include how we can connect with different data sets. We saw how you uploaded an Excel data set and how you uploaded a PDF data set. You also demonstrated how we can rename different data sets and how we can change data type, then promoting headers in case we are making use of Excel in terms of our data input. Then how to remove columns, how to match columns, and how to append data set. One of the high points you mentioned in terms of the tip for using Power BI is that we should not load all our data set if there is no need for all of them. So we can only make use of those ones that are needed for our analysis. I want to thank you for this great session, and I want to open the floor the next 5 minutes for questions so that you can attach to all of them before we move to the next session very shortly. Thank you. We have 5 minutes for Q&A.
Okay.
So once there is any question, I will let you be aware so that you can attend to it.
Okay. If they could also answer for by default, Power BI column profiling will profile your data based on how many rows. So that's true. If we're actually passing out a message. They could put it on the charts, that would be good.
Yes, participants, we should also be aware that we need to fill the feedback form, which I will share shortly on the chat. I may as well put it on the screen. Just a minute. Yes, can go ahead with your presentation.
Sorry, he said, I was asking if they could, based on what was taught, column profiling will profile your data. Can somebody actually tell us what Power Query Editor is? Just a simple definition, that will be fine.
Yes,
Anybody?
if there's any one of the participants, whether, yeah, I've shared the link to the feedback form. Kindly help us to fill it up and get it submitted. We will appreciate your feedbacks. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have any final
Do we
thoughts
have?
from your side, Gloria?
Okay, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has tuned in, and please join us for the next 8 weeks. It's going to be very insightful. You'll stand to learn more, and you can also reach out to us via our social media handles, which is will be on the screen. And sorry, Mr. Popola, I've also sent a link to you. Mr. Popola, can you
Yes,
hear
ma.
me? Sorry, I've sent a link to you also.
Yeah.
Just based on the
Let me also share some of our social media contacts in case you want to reach out to us. Kindly look up at the charts. I just share for the meetup. I will also share for the remaining ones where you can reach us and get to know more about what we do. This event is a 10-week long event and we are just starting. This is the second week. You can reach us on the meetup.
Oh, sorry.
Um, I've shared the link to Data Platform Community on Twitter. Likewise, a link to our LinkedIn groups where you can be one of our members and getting to know about the updates. Um,
Okay.
yes, and also to all the video clips of the presentations from last week up to the end of this event. All right. Once again, on behalf of the speaker, the technical crew, and myself as moderator, I want to thank you all for finding time to be part of this event today. We have looked at how we can analyze data using Power BI with special interest on extract, transform, and load in Power Query. So our speaker has been Gloria, and she has been able to do justice to this session. So this has come to the end of this session. We thank you for joining us. Happy stay tuned as I bring to you in the next few minutes the next session on this track. Thank you and do have a nice weekend. Pokwala Isaka is my name. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you.